I'm sure you're familiar with Mystic Flower, the cookie that ruined the Kingdom Arena. She's one of the least free-to-play friendly cookies we've had for a while, but even if you do have her, you're still not safe. The Kingdom Arena is the most dreadful and unforgiving game mode, so I decided to do something about that. I need to find a way to do the impossible, countering Mystic Flower, and then I need to use my counters to reach Grandmaster 1, even going as far as making a spreadsheet with all the counters, all to prove that there is some hope left. Little did I know how truly painful this would be, and this would all lead me down a path to the point where I genuinely hate this game. Oh, it doesn't stop there. There's the whole Ancient plus Rarity drama, Dev Sisters doing all sorts of crap, and giving up on uploading videos for the longest time. You know what? Let's start at the beginning, before I had Mystic Flower. The Kingdom Arena used to be a fair game mode. Every arena team had a counter. It was like rock, paper, scissors. There was a burnt cheese paper charm team. It was countered by burnt cheese feather. Then blueberry pie countered the feather. Finally, the paper charm countered blueberry pie. This rock, paper, scissors sort of thing allowed the arena to be healthy. But as you know, Dev Sisters hates their player base. All they want to do is milk us for money. They don't care about their community. No, all they care about is money. So then the patch notes came. Mystic Flower was released. And then Dev Sisters did free-to-plays like me dirty. They made Mystic Flower really hard to obtain. Before all the Ancient plus Rarity riots happened, it was extremely difficult for a free-to-play to reach the 250 pity. It was possible, but for the average player, not really. Anyways, the arena was completely destroyed. That rock, paper, scissors meta, gone. The arena was split into 3 layers. Kind of like social classes, but for trophies. People with no Mystic Flower at the bottom, people with a 3-second starting cooldown Mystic Flower in the middle, and people with a 2-second starting cooldown at the top. The arena is the most pay-to-win it's ever been. And guess what? I'm right here at the bottom layer. Mystic Flower just got released and I don't have her yet. So I have to find a way to counter her without using her myself. Right now, I'm around the top 200 or top 100 range, and my plan was to rush to top 30, which is Grandmaster 1, by using counters. Thankfully, at the moment, there weren't that many 2-second start Mystic Flowers. It was pretty much the best time to rush. Then I could finish my video and be done with it. Quick and easy upload. I didn't know it at the time, but this was really stupid. You can't just rush to make counters and expect them to work. I was gonna face the consequences later, but anyways, let's continue. Alright, the first team I'm gonna use is a Blueberry Pie carry comp. Stormbringer, Elder Fairy, Yeti, Financier, and Blueberry Pie. However, this team already has a flaw. Mystic Flower completely outclasses Ice Yeti. Oh boy, that's really not good. Yeti's pretty much the best healer you can use that's not Mystic Flower, so yeah. Looking back, I'm not sure if those were the best treasures to use. The Feather, Watch, and Vial might have been better. I know the Feather and Vial is better if you have Mystic in your team. I didn't intend this video to be like a guide, but you'd probably assume that I'd show you how to build a team, so here we go. 5 Apple Stormbringer, 5 Almond Elder Fairy. He does tend to explode if you don't use Mystic Flower. 5 Chocolate Yeti, 5 Almond Financier, 5 Apple Blueberry Pie. Don't mind the different ascensions. I didn't record everything I needed to a month ago. Okay, so now for what it counters. Remember this diagram I showed you earlier with the rock, paper, scissors counters? At this point in time, people were slapping Mystic Flower into the burnt cheese feather teams. So this Blueberry Pie team's supposed to counter that. In theory, I should be able to beat this team. Stormbringer, burnt cheese, golden cheese, frost swap, Mystic Flower. They're also using the feather. Let's start actually fighting people. Aw, dang it! Well, this is gonna be a lot harder than I thought, yeah. After failing miserably, well, now it's time for the next team. This one's actually brand new. Little did I know that I'd be using something similar to this in the future, but for right now, it still has Yeti in it, which is unfortunate. This comp has 2 DPS cookies, Blueberry Pie and White Lily. You know how Mystic Flower debuffs your cookies and extends their cooldowns? White Lily's the only cookie who benefits from this, cause the more debuffs, the more heals she pops off. For Blueberry Pie, she's the DPS who relies the least on cooldown. Then there's Stormbringer, Yeti, and Financier. Remember, this This video's not really supposed to be a guide, but I'll show you how to build the team anyways. Stormbringer 5 apple, Yeti 5 chocolate, Financier 5 chocolate, Blueberry Pie 5 apple, White Lily 5 raspberry. If I was using Mystic Flower instead of Yeti, I would've used a Feather, Whistle, and Vial, but back then I used a Monocle, Watch, and Whistle. Who knows if it was better or not. So this is supposed to counter Mystic Flower comps with few DPS cookies. If they have Stormbringer as the only DPS, it works. If they have Stormbringer and one other DPS, it still works. If they have Stormbringer and 2 DPS, well, it probably won't work. So let's fight this opponent right here with it. They have Hollyberry, Stormbringer, Financier, Blueberry Pie, and Mystic Flower. It has Stormbringer and 1 DPS, so it should work. However, plot twist, this isn't any random opponent. It's actually Yeon Pixie, the Cookie Run YouTuber. What a surprise. Well, here we go. Hopefully I don't lose like last time. Okay, so here's a bit of a problem. I don't have any more teams. You may be wondering what happened to all the burnt cheese comps. Well, if you're not using Mystic Flower yourself, then they're all completely useless. Let's bring up the rock, paper, scissors diagram from earlier. There's 2 variations of the burnt cheese comp, one with the paper charm and one with the feather. Mystic Flower hard counters the paper charm. Just no reason to use it anymore. It simply doesn't work, so we have to delete the burnt cheese paper charm team. It's useless. This video is about countering Mystic Flower, so let's assume the other teams have her. Now, my burnt cheese feather team has no Mystic Flower. The question is, what is it supposed to counter? Mystic Flower paper charm teams don't exist cause the treasure sucks now. The same team with Mystic Flower? Of course not. A Mystic Flower blueberry pie team? Of course not. Blueberry pie is supposed to counter that. The other comps I currently have take care of all the other things. Therefore, I'm just not gonna use burnt cheese. If you think this is a lack of diversity, oh, it gets way worse in the future. Okay, so here's my 2 Mystic Flower counters. A blueberry pie hyper carry that doesn't work half the time, and a White Lily blueberry pie comp. It's usable, but not really that good. I used them anyways, cause I was really desperate to get a video out. I just had to reach Grandmaster 1, even if my teams were pretty bad. So I either reached Grandmaster 1 or put out a disappointing video. A high quality video was on the line. I can't just fumble in a video. Here's a little montage of what happened. Did I reach Grandmaster 1? Well, just start the montage. Well, that's the worst I've ever messed up in this game. I made all the wrong decisions and everything just so went wrong. 90% my fault to 10% Mystic Flower's fault. The highest I could get was the 44th place, so mission failed. How did I mess up a video so badly? 3 weeks has passed since that disaster. Looking back, maybe it was a good thing that those teams didn't go public. It's pretty much impossible to counter Mystic Flower without using her yourself, and I avoided giving people a false sense of hope. Well, the teams are public now, cause I told you about the stuff I didn't upload, but then I did upload it just now, so anyways, things weren't going well. I haven't really played Cookie Run at all ever since. All I did was log on, do my dailies, and log off. I just didn't like the game anymore. It's kind of hard to explain. And of course, I just didn't upload anything. If I didn't like the game, then, you know, why even make videos about it? So no uploads, no nothing. That was it. I was gone. I still wasn't just gonna sit around and do nothing though. I realized that if I ever want to reach Grandmaster 1, I need Mystic Flower. Instead of quitting, I logged on every day, collecting Lights of Apathy. I even bought every single Light of Apathy in the crystal shop. After 3 weeks, I had enough to unlock her. It was possible to unlock her as a free-to-play, just really difficult. Now, I was finally ready to reach Grandmaster 1. Well, that's what I thought at first. Turns out, the arena meta got way worse. First of all, 2-second start Mystic Flower was everywhere. Once you reached Grandmaster 2, the majority of the fights were all 2-second start Mystic Flowers, or 2-second start White Lilies, which I didn't have either. I was now in the middle of the trophy hierarchy. I have a 3-second start Mystic Flower, but not a 2-second start one. Here's another problem. Teams got a lot less diverse. You know what's sad? Black Pearl had more uses than Golden Cheese and Burnt Cheese. The best DPSs were Blueberry Pie, White Lily, and Frostflop. Stormbringer was also mandatory, so there's only like 2 arena teams that people really use in their defenses. Tri-Tank with one of the DPS I mentioned earlier, or the dreadful 2-2-1. 2 tanks in the front, 2 DPS in the middle, and Mystic Flower in the back. Let's try to counter the weaker of the 2 first, the Tri-Tank. Let's fight this opponent right here. Stormbringer, the Trader, Financier, Blueberry Pie, Flower. If their DPS is Blueberry Pie, then it does have a counter. It's Stardust, cause he prevents Blueberry Pie from using her laser. The Stardust team I'm gonna use is Stormbringer, Financier, Stardust, Frostflop, and Flower. Even though this isn't a guide video, I'll show you how to build it. Stormbringer 5 apple, 4-second start. Financier either 5 almond with a 4-second start or 5 chocolate with a 3-second start. The choice is up to you. Stardust has 5 chocolate and he needs a 2-second start. Without a 2-second start, then you're kinda dead. Frostflop can be 5 raspberry with a 4-second start or 5 chocolate with a 3-second start. It depends on what you like more. Mystic Flower can either have 5 chocolate or 5 almonds with a 3-second start, or a mix of both. So you see, this team has like a billion flaws. If the opponent's DPS is White Lily or Frostflop instead, then your cookies have a high chance of getting blown up instantly. Stardust doesn't work well against 2-2-1, even if they have Blueberry Pie, it still doesn't work that well. Finally, if the opponent has a 2-second start Mystic, then you can probably guess what happens. Thankfully, this opponent's not using that, so we have a good chance of winning. Alright, here's my next team. It's your average 2-2-1 comp, Stormbringer, Financier, Blueberry Pie, Frostflop, Flower. This type of team is extremely popular. You may be wondering what it counters. Does it counter a 2-second Mystic? Well, no. Does it counter other 2-2-1s? Well, I get outsited, so no. Does it counter Tri-Tank? Well, you see, yes. Only if my stats are better than my opponent's, so no. What about off-meta teams? Yes, it does counter off-meta teams. At this point, the arena was an absolute shambles. With a 3-second Mystic, the only counter that's actually good is a Stardust one. And of course, 2-second Mystic counters 3-second Mystic. Wow, who would have guessed? I couldn't find anything else online or come up with anything myself. I dug deep into the internet looking for any counters at all. The Stardust comp was the only one that worked. I was completely defeated. I had 0 chance of reaching Grandmaster 1, so I decided to just give up until I got a 2-second Mystic Flower. Basically, this was a bigger failure than last time, but then things were only gonna get worse for everybody. At this point, I genuinely hated the game, and it's all because of Death Sister's greed. It was the day the worst update in history was announced. There was a new rarity, the Ancient Plus rarity. Awakened Dark Cacao was an Ancient Plus, and you had to obtain him as a separate cookie from the original Dark Cacao. If that sounds stupid, well, that's because it is. His gacha was also gonna be similar to Mystic Flowers. Obviously, a blatant cash grab. At this point, the community was furious. Many spoke up against him in their official Discord. Some decided to take it even further, sending trucks, condolence flowers, and suing Dev Sisters. Dev Sisters deserves all the hate they get. Finally, in protest, multiple guilds and individuals put a plus at the end of their name. In the end, Dev Sisters was defeated. They scrapped that terrible idea, they made Awakened Dark Cacao one cookie, and they made Mystic Flower easier to obtain due to the update delay. They haven't listened to everything people wanted, so keep the hate going. But what about me? What was I doing during all this? Well, nothing, cause I hated the game and, you know, died for a month. I'll make a full video speaking out against him eventually. Anyways, I still logged on every day, re-rolling for cooldown on my Mystic Flower biscuits over and over and over again. Deep down, I still wanted to reach Grandmaster 1. So here's the thing about me and my bad luck. Back when 2-second White Lily was meta, I tried so hard to get a high cooldown Bomber biscuit. So much time went by and I never got it. My luck was like really bad. So that means I'm probably not ever gonna get a 2-second healer biscuit. Oh, never mind. I've been given a second chance at redemption. Wait, no, third chance. Well, I can't blow my third chance. If I fumble again, I'll never finish the video. So this is gonna be really difficult. I need to reach Grandmaster 1 before Awakened Dark Cacao comes out, or else I'm just gonna get destroyed by him. Worst part is, he's coming out in 3 days. This time, I was gonna go full tryhard mode. I overanalyzed everyone's arena defenses. I'd say 80 to 90% of my opponents all had 2-2-1s. The 2 tanks, Stormbreaker and Financier in the front, and assortment of 2 DPSs in the middle. The possibilities were Frostslop, White Lily, Blueberry Pie, Stardust, and Black Pearl. Then there's always a 2-second Mystic in the back. At my trophy range, every single person had a 2-second Mystic, or 2-second White Lily, but that's pretty rare. Some people use Tri-Tank, but it wasn't that common anymore. So at this point, I made a spreadsheet. I was gonna keep track of the different 2-2-1 teams, and also which one countered what. First, let's list them out. There's a Frostslop and White Lily combination. Is the most popular among the whales. There's a Frostslop and Blueberry Pie combination. Then there's a White Lily and Blueberry Pie combination. Next, there's a White Lily Hypercarry with Black Pearl. Finally, there's Frostslop Stardust. There's also the Tri-Tank. There's a version with Blueberry Pie as a main DPS, and there's the one with White Lily and Frostslop as a main DPS. They're pretty much the same. All teams either had the Watch, Vial, and Feather, or they had the Whistle, Vial, and Feather. Now, for the counters. We already know what the Stardust team does. It's pretty much the same with or without 2-second Mystic. However, it does counter Black Pearl 2-2-1. For all the other 2-2-1s, I decided to find their counters by testing teams against myself. You know that feature where you can practice against your own defense? I was gonna use that, but little did I know this would be my greatest mistake. I missed something extremely crucial. Anyways, instead of reading the whole entire spreadsheet, I'll summarize what I found. All the teams with Frostslop in it underperformed. I'm not sure why, but they just weren't really good at countering stuff. However, the White Lily Blueberry Pie combination, it countered every single one of my 2-2-1 teams. Those results were unexpected, but I decided to use it against all the other 2-2-1 teams that weren't a mirror match. You know your opponent's using White Lily Blueberry Pie if they don't have a Soul Gem icon. Therefore, this opponent right here should be free trophies. They're using Stormbringer, Financier, White Lily, Frostslop, and Flower. Let's begin our push to Grandmaster 1 with this hard counter. Wait a second, the hard counter didn't work. Oh, I'm in really big trouble. So I have a Discord server where people help me with Arena. After I was dead for a month, I randomly showed up and complained about how the White Lily Frostslop comp never worked for me, even though it works for everyone else. And then my top Arena chef said it only works with a level 30 Frostslop Crystal Gem. Wait, Wait a second. So that's why I lost. That opponent had a level 30 Crystal Gem. My planning and preparation all fell apart. My biggest threat wasn't 2-second Mystic Flower anymore. It's level 30 Crystal Gems. When the Crystal Gem reaches level 30, you get a 40% damage resist bypass. This is so OP that Frostflop actually one-shots Mystic Flower. It pretty much bypasses all my damage resist. That's a counter to 2-second Mystic. But the worst part is, I don't have that. Mine's only level 28. Without a level 30 gem, my Frostflop's unusable. That's why all my Frostflop teams failed earlier. So that means my whole spreadsheet and everything is useless. My defense teams were crap compared to my opponents. At this point, usually I just give up. But this is my last chance. If I fail now, I'd be done for. So I had no choice but to keep trying. After lots of trial and error, I found Black Pearl to be really useful. You see, the team I fought earlier actually counters Blueberry Pie. Yeah, the more you know. That means I can't use Blueberry Pie or Frostflop against it. Not Stardust either, of course. So my only options are White Lily and Black Pearl. In fact, I use this team against all level 30 Frostflop Crystal Gems. If Black Pearl dies, it's no big deal, because all we care about is her Crystal Gem. That's what makes a team so strong. Now here's how to build a team. 5 Apple Stormbringer, 5 Chocolate 3-second start Financier, 5 Raspberry 4-second start White Lily, either 5 Almond or 5 Apple for Black Pearl, and 5 Chocolate for a 2-second Mystic. The Feather, Whistle, and Vial are the best treasures. Our next opponent's actually the same exact one as last time, using the same exact team. What a coincidence. Now, it's time to finally get my revenge. I will not let their max Crystal Gem hold me back. We're almost ready to climb to Grandmaster 1. There is a slight problem though. You know the White Lily Blueberry Pie combo? Earlier when I said it as my defense and I couldn't beat it? Well, Blueberry Pie Tri-Tank does beat it. However, when I use Tri-Tank on other opponents, it was kinda mediocre. It's good if you don't have a 2-second Mystic, but otherwise, yeah. To make matters even worse, White Lily Blueberry Pie actually counters Black Pearl. At this point, I didn't really have a counter for it because the counter is level 30 Frostflop Gem, and Awakened Darkacao is about to be released. I have absolutely no time to come up with an alternative counter. Instead, I'm gonna use it myself. At this point, I was panicking. If I saw an opponent using it, I was just gonna use whatever. Tri-Tank, Mirror Match, I don't know. So here's how to build a comp. 5 Apple Stormbringer, 5 Chocolate 3-second start Financier, 5 Apple Blueberry Pie, 5 Raspberry White Lily, 5 Chocolate 2-second start Mystic Flower. Alright, it's time to grind trophies and reach Grandmaster 1 by using counters and brute force. Although my plan has a few flaws, we need to try anyways. This is my very last chance. This time, I really blew it. I was able to get to top 40, but not top 30. I needed less than 100 trophies, but I still couldn't do it. I spent hours trying to reach it, but I just couldn't. I constantly won, then lost, then won, then lost again. I guess I really am just too weak for this, cause I'm free to play. You know what? Even though I failed, I'm just gonna upload the video anyways. I spent long enough not uploading anything. Awakened Dark Cacao just released. Obviously, he was broken inside the arena. He's tanky, does massive damage, and lots of debuffs. He could even have a 2-second start and silence the enemies, similar to what Mystic Flower does. Of course, I wasn't gonna get him anytime soon. Maybe in 1 or 2 weeks, but not now. At this point, I haven't finished editing my video. I decided to just play the game normally in the meantime. I guess I have to grind for Awakened Dark Cacao now. Wait a second. I unlocked him from the gacha on the first day of his release. I was given another chance after all that failure. Maybe I can actually reach Grandmaster 1 this time. Forget about finishing the video. Let's try again. But this time I can learn from my past mistakes. Since it's the first day, the arena is in complete chaos. There's only one good defense team being used right now. It's the White Lily Tri-Tank. It has Stormbringer, Financier, Dark Cacao, White Lily, and Mystic Flower. The treasures are the Feather, Whistle, and Vial, Feather, Watch, and Vial, or Scroll, Watch, and Whistle. For high trophy ranges, since there's only one viable defense team at the moment, if I counter it, I win. But first, let me show you why that defense team's so good. I'm using the Feather, Watch, and Vial. For the toppings, there weren't any guides at the time, so I just slapped a bunch of cooldown on Dark Cacao and Mystic Flower. The more the better, right? Stormbringer had the usual 5 apple, Financier had 5 chocolate, White Lily had 5 raspberry. Our next opponent is this poor soul right here. They don't have Awakened Dark Cacao, but they do have a max Frost Swap Soul Gem. It's time for revenge. That opponent didn't stand a chance. This team is super OP, which is actually a bad thing. If I want to reach Grandmaster 1, I have to counter it. It's not gonna be easy though, especially because I'm about to fight the #1 arena player. Yes, you heard that right. I'm about to duel the top arena player. Their defense is a White Lily Tri-Tank. Is it even possible to win this one? This is it. I need to use a counter right now. Something that can counter Mystic Flower and Dark Cacao. Back when I failed to reach Grandmaster 1 without Mystic Flower, I learned that she's mandatory for all teams. I also have to be quick with making counters before the meta shifts. They have to be good counters though. Back when I failed with a 3-second start mystic, I learned that Stardust cookie is really good, and you must have a crowd control cookie that has a 2-second start. Back when I failed with a 2-second start mystic, I learned that in my trophy range my Frost Swap gem's garbage. If it's not level 30, it's useless, so I can't use her. Finally, I must use Dark Cacao. For the other 2 cookies, I use Financier and Stormbringer. Both of them could be replaced by another cookie. Stardust is the main focus though. With the Feather, Watch, and Vial, this could be the ultimate counter. The toppings are quite flexible. Stormbringer 5 apple, Financier 5 chocolate, Dark Cacao 5 chocolate, either 3-second or a 2-second start. Stardust, you can use anything actually. For now, I'm using 5 almond with a 3-second start. If he survives, 5 chocolate or 5 apples better. Mystic Flower 5 chocolate, either a 2-second or 3-second start. Now it's time to fight the top arena player. This is it. My counter has to work. If I beat this person, I believe I can reach Grandmaster 1. So here we go. Yes, the counter works. I'm ready to push to Grandmaster 1. So here's my strategy. I'll use Stardust against every single opponent. I noticed that every time I failed, I was unsure of what to do. Often, I was confused, outstatted, or didn't have a counter. But this time, I have a good plan, and I know exactly what to do. Let's go counter Mystic Flower. In the end, I was able to reach top 13. I'd say I countered Mystic Flower even though I used her myself. If you watched the whole entire video, you should subscribe, also cause I'm poor. Alright, see ya.